Welcome to Ark Survival Ascended Bootcamp, where we will be going over all the how-tos, where-tos, and what you will need to-dos. Today's video is going to be focused on taming farming creatures. I will be going over each and every farming creature I used in my previous video that showed where and best methods on farming all those essential beginning mats required to build that first auto turret base of operations. We're going to start with the Ankylosaurus. You can use a crossbow with trank arrows. It's going to be very easy to obtain in the beginning, probably what you'll tame your first Anky with. But another absolutely great weapon is going to be a long neck rifle with some trank darts. You want to go a step further, you can even make shocking trank darts, but you're probably not going to have those when you're, first taming your first Anky. So let's get this Anky down. It's going to be a very common tame. You don't need to do anything. Ankies are really slow. You should have plenty of speed. You can just free range tame it. But if you want, you can set it up with some billboards. And how I like to do my billboards is put it down where it's headed, trap it off, and then just back up as you place the third one. Now it's in there. It's not going to get out. It's not even going to swing at me. And then we're just going to knock it out. Now it stops swinging finally. And that's all there is to it. Knock it out, feed it, tame it. You don't need to feed it narco berries. They love to sleep. So I'll probably speed up the rest of this video, or we'll just cut to the next dino. Alright, let's tame us a Megatherium. It's going to be good at collecting fiber, some berries. It's going to be our chitin farmer in the swamp cave as well. Now for the Megatherium, it's going to be pretty much the exact same as the Anky. Just going to get in front of it and seal it in with some billboards. Boom, boom, boom. Alright, now we're going to knock it out. Same exact thing. Literally the exact same thing as an Anky pretty much, except we're going to feed it honey or mutton when we get to it. Because these things will wake up if they can. Eventually it'll stop hitting the billboards and it wants to attack me, but I'm too far away. So I'll skip forward to the point where I have to go get honey. Alright, Megatherium is down. Now we're going to go get either mutton or honey. Honey is obviously a lot easier because finding an ovis is pretty difficult on the island. So we're going to go to the different beehive locations that I know of. So around in these hills, you can find beehives sometimes. Now I usually like to have my hard innie on. I can see beehives from a mile away. But right now I've got on one that I can see pearls with. If you can't find any of the hills, not to worry. There's plenty in the redwoods. Just be careful of thylas. Now the ones in the redwoods are going to be up on trees, so you can't just run up to them and grab them. You're going to need to bring a little bit of equipment with you, and the bees themselves hurt. So it's always a smart idea to place down a bag before you get started, because Carnos can come out of anywhere, thylas, Trudons. The redwoods is just not a safe place. Now, you can build your way up there, but I find the easiest way is just to use a grapple. You're probably not going to have bug repellent, but if you do have bug repellent and a full set of ghillie, you'll be perfectly fine. The bugs won't attack you at all. But shoot right above that. Grab your honey. And then that's it. Got your honey. Now I'm going to collect a little bit more, because I'm not sure how Dodo Decks or how much honey a 150 is going to cost to tame. But honey does not actually stay that good for very long. So make sure your Megatherium is passed out for a solid, say 15 to 20 minutes or so. Whenever it comes to knowing how the tame is going to go, I recommend using Dodo Decks. It'll tell you how many arrows, how many darts, how many of something you'll need to knock it out. Just make sure you put in the level correctly and your taming rates. It'll also tell you how much of a food you will need to feed the tame as well. So my recommendation is just always use dodo decks, that way you're not messing up the tame. But Megatheriums love honey. So I'm going to sit here and wait for this bad boy to tame up. Alright, it's all tamed up. Just demolish that post. Give him a saddle, and we're on our way. On to the next one. Alright, let's go over Theory taming. I love Theories. They are absolute monsters. Basically a small herbivore T-Rex. And they just look super sick. But we're going to be going over Theories for our wood harvesting, farming, our fiber farming. So, it's the exact same, once again, as the Megatherium and the Anki, except with the added danger. So if you do have a bear trap, I recommend using it. Otherwise, you can still use the billboards. Now, I'm going to set up a billboard before I get close to the Theory, because I actually need to lure it into a little cove here. So I'm going to set up my billboards just like so. And let's say the Theory was located right about here. Oops. Alright, now it's aggroed onto me. I'm just going to lure it right in. Wait for it to aggro onto the wood. Oh, that's dangerous. That's why you want to use a bear trap if you have one. I would probably be dead right now. Wait for it to aggro onto the wood. Alright. More or less got it stuck. Now that could have been done a lot smoother, but here we are. Now, it will destroy the signpost if I let it sit there and attack. So get close enough to where it aggroes onto you, but can't. It's not going to swing because it can't hit you. You're not in range. But you're in range of its aggro. Fairies do not like to sleep. They wake up really quickly. So when it comes to taming a Theory, you're going to want to feed it mihos or crops, and you're going to have to sit there and feed it narcotic berries every time it starts to wake up. I don't recommend letting it wake up and knocking it back out, just because it takes so many arrows and trank darts just to knock it out in the first place. So knock it out once, keep it asleep with narco berries, and it's going to take a long time for it to tame up with miho berries. Alright, I'll cut back between the important bits. Alright, there is knocked out. Get rid of that. That's going to need a lot of miho and time spent sitting here watching it, making sure you're feeding it narco berries so it doesn't wake up. We're going to move on to the next tame. For the next tame, we're going to be going over the Casseroides. The wood farming RG being taken by Monster. So, you're going to start seeing a trend here where we use billboards for pretty much everything. You got to be careful with the Casseroides though, because if you shoot one, they will all aggro onto you. The same thing goes for Megatheriums and Theories. They're all what's the word? Together type creatures. Alright. Now, same thing, passive tame, so I can just block it off while it's walking. Okay. Now it's stuck in there. It doesn't look like it's stuck in there, but it is. Another thing, same thing with Theories, is Casseroides love to wake up. So you're going to have to feed it miho, but also you're going to have to keep a close eye that it doesn't wake up. So I'm gonna skip to the knocking out part, and pretty much that's essentially it. You've got it trapped. Like again, get close enough to where it wants to hit you, but it won't actually attack because you're in its aggro range, but you're outside of its actual hitbox range. So I'll knock it out here, tame it up, and that'll be that. On to the next one. Alright, let's talk about the Doedicurus, or the stone farming machine. They are passive in the beginning, so all you're really going to need is a billboard. And you're going to want to get them trapped in that billboard. Run up from behind him. Put it in front. Off to the side. And then behind. There we go. Now, it doesn't really matter where you shoot the Doedicurus, but you want to do as least amount of damage and as much torpor as possible. If you do use a crossbow, there is a chance that it'll ball up. And then you pretty much have to wait for it to heal and then retry again. And their torpor does go down fast, so you're better off not using a crossbow. You're better off using a tranq rifle, in my opinion. But once it's knocked out, you're just going to feed it some miho. Like I said, they do like to wake up, so you're going to have to watch this one's torpor and feed it narco berries before it wakes up to tame it. Now you can see him shooting the shell. It doesn't matter where you shoot the Doedicurus, contrary to popular belief. You shoot it tip of its tail, 26. Shoot it in its head, 26. Shoot it right in the top of the shell, 26. What matters is when it balls up after taking too much damage, then it'll take a lot less decreased damage, basically. So, knock it out, watch its torpor, feed it mihos. That's the Doed. We're going to move on to the next one. Let's talk about the anglerfish, the king of silica pearls and black pearls when Crystal Isles gets released. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the silica pearl farmer called the anglerfish. You're going to want to level it up in melee. The more melee you have, the more pearls you're going to obtain. Now, we're actually going to set up a trap and use a crossbow, because you can't use a gun underwater. If you manage to find an anglerfish near the surface or want to bring it near the surface, that's more power to you. I'm going to be showing you how to tame one at the bottom of the ocean, because that's where they spawn, and this is, always done me good. You're going to want a couple scuba tanks, if not maybe just one. Having a second one's always good. A pair of flippers, because you need to move fast. You need to move faster than the actual anglerfish. Now, if you come down here without a tame, you're going to want some chairs, because chairs, when you run out of stamina, will replenish your stamina. And then if you stand out, you can't go up, you can't go down, you can't really move. Cool thing about chairs is you don't have to pick them up within those 20 seconds. I know it says pick up allowed in 18 seconds. But when that runs out, you can still pick them up regardless. So, let's pretend that we're out here in the deep blue, and we see an anglerfish over there, and we're like, oh, when we spyglass that anglerfish, we're like, oh, that's a nice level 150 anglerfish over there. I wouldn't mind having that in my arsenal repertoire of things to use on pearls and farming and whatnot. We're gonna make a trap. So set up a trap, very simple. Bada bing, bada boom. We're gonna give it a nice little T here. All right. And then we're even going to top it off with ceiling. There you go. 3 pillars, 2 ceilings, 3 billboards. We're going to use 1 more billboard when we get the anglerfish. But the anglerfish is over here. They are aggressive off the jump. So let's get that anglerfish spawned in. Alright. A lovely red and black color are my actual favorite colors. So we're just going to lead this bad boy right into his new home. Don't need chairs, I need billboards. Alright. There you go. Alright, I messed up the trap. Come this away. Back into your home, please. Aggro onto the wood. And then we're going to come in. There we go. Now we just sit here, crossbow it out. Anglerfish do tend to have really low health, so there is a chance that you actually kill the anglerfish before it tames. So you want to be really careful and kind of shoot it every 5 seconds. Don't shoot it too fast, because if you shoot it too fast, you'll do a lot more damage than you're actually giving it torpor. So count 5 seconds. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5. Shoot it. And then just keep doing that till it's knocked out. You're going to want to feed it raw mutton, prime meat, believe it or not. A fish that doesn't actually like fish more than regular land meat. It's kind of fun, but that is what it is. And that's how you tame yourself an anglerfish. Careful not to bring only one crossbow, because if the crossbow breaks, it's going to suck. Anglerfish do like to sleep, so you don't really have to worry about them waking up. But yeah, I'm not going to bore any more with that. We're going to move on to the next tame. The final tame that we're going to be talking about is the Moss Chops, the harvesting, farming king of all kinds of things. Honestly, we're going to be mostly taming it for organic polymer, but if you look here, you can actually level it to harvest all kinds of things with greater quantity. Organic polymer, leech blood, rare mushrooms, rare flowers, rare prime fish, raw prime meat, and sap. We're going to be focusing on the organic part of the harvesting portion for the moss chops. Now, how do you tame a moss chops? Well, it's actually the most simple tame to tame. It's just a passive feed out of all the others that I've gone over. What does that passive feed look like? It could be any number of things. The randomness of it is what kind of gives it a slight difficulty. But as you can see, this one literally wants miho berries. So I'm just going to run over to a bush, pick a berry, feed it to it. Now, you have to wait for it to get hungry again. Unless you're on a boosted server, it's going to take quite a few feeds. Now, a note that, if you don't already know, is the first feed takes about 2 to 5 minutes before you can feed it again. After that, it's only about 30 seconds to a minute between feeds. So after the first feed is the longest amount of time that you'll have to wait, and it's not going to tell you preemptively what it eats. Let's go over what it eats. It eats all the different kinds of berries. So you got your miho, your amar, your azul, and your tinto. Alright, so purple, yellow, blue, red berries. It also can ask for giant bee honey. And through the Megatherium video, I showed how to get bee honey. You can just harvest it from beehives. You can also tame bees, but I'm not going to go into that quite yet. That'll be a different video. And it can ask for rare mushrooms, rare flowers. Rare mushrooms can be gained from harvesting crystal on mountains or harvesting swamp trees. Rare flowers can be harvested by harvesting swamp type bushes. So the reeds, when we did our fiber farming, are a great way to get your rare flowers. We can also ask for raw prime meat, raw prime fish meat. Now, raw prime fish meat, your best way to go about that is to find a lead. You can just like literally swim up to it and tap E. It'll give you 50 raw prime fish. Another way is to harvest a megalodon with a hatchet, I believe, or was it a pick? One of those two. It'd be a different video. I'm sure we'll eventually get to it. Taming different PvP dinos. Baryonyx is going to want raw prime fish when we get to taming that. But either way, there is a way to get raw prime fish from a megalodon. It's either the hatch or pick. Cooked prime meat. Wants cooked prime meat. Alright. Give me prime. There we go. Now you always got to put it in the last slot of your inventory. Wait until it's hungry again. It's gonna be about 30 seconds. Tinto berry. Alright, very simple. Alright, we're gonna quickly recap our harvest tames that we tamed up throughout this video. The RG was a couple videos back. That's gonna be your carrier for your tames. It's gonna have the higher weight to help you move these resources. Can pick up the Casteroides, can pick up the Dode, can pick up the Anki, can even pick up the Moss Chops when it comes to farming Polymer and the Penguins. You got your Wood Farmer, the Casteroides, your better Wood Farmer with a Raft, with a Theory, Stone for the Doedicurus. You've got Fiber, Berries, and Chitin for your Megatherium, Metal, Crystal, Flint, Obsidian, all for the Anki. Oh, and Oil, all for the Anki. Anglerfish is going to come in clutch for your Pearls. Moss Chops is for your Polymer. And you cannot forget that the Theory is with the Wood and also with the Fiber. And a great Meat Farmer, if you, by the way, Meat and Hide. And yeah, and that covers everything. That's going to be the end of it. Peace.